Aloha, and thank you for viewing this first quarter report. As you know, I try to get in front of the faculty and staff and as often as I can to provide you with information about the progress that we've been making against our aspirational goals. And this video presentation is the best way to get information to you in a timely way and also respect your time. Thank you in advance for taking some time to view this. If you recall, we started the opening convocation this year by talking about the balance between our Aspirations 2020 goals. We are currently in the third year of our 5-year plan, and taking a look at how we can build our foundation and strengthen our feeling of community. And when you put those two things together, it means that we have to pause. We have to move some Aspirations 2020 goals to the side and then allow both time and individuals to come together to have those really deep conversations. I'm going to talk a little bit about what those look like as I move through the presentation, but I just want to make sure that we take a look at the fact that we're taking that balance, Aspirations 2020 and traditions, and finding a way forward. So let's start by taking a look at some of the numbers. We began the year by acknowledging the fact that Ann and Christy in our HR office are two individuals who oversee nearly 300 employees when you factor in our part-time employees. We acknowledge the fact that those two individuals can't do everything, and that by increasing communication outlets for our employees, essentially we make things a little bit easier for everybody over the course of the entire year. So the first part was, how do we possibly provide additional training for our directors and our supervisors so that they are brought up to speed, they're aware of best practices, and they're helping to reduce some communication barriers across campus. By the end of this first quarter, which just ended last week, I'm happy to tell you that 47 of our directors, supervisors, and administrators have all taken additional training specifically for those purposes. That's a great number, and I'm very happy that Ann and Christy helped us all get there. Additionally, we talked about getting additional help for Ann and Christy. That's currently underway, and we anticipate completing that hiring process by the end of this semester. That's a great nod, especially to our facilities and maintenance individuals, because thanks to the great people in FMS, there is additional space that's being created in the HR department, and that means that all three individuals will be able to work together and help you, our faculty and staff. We discussed the importance of admissions. Obviously, the admissions office in any school is important because it's about our lifeblood. To date, at the end of the first quarter, over 40 tours have occurred. Over 500 individuals and families visited the Mid-Pacific booth at the HAIS Education Fair just a few weeks ago. And just this past Saturday, over 800 individuals and families signed up to come and visit Mid-Pacific for our open house. And over 700 individuals were actually able to make it, participate in those tours, and learn more about us. The reports coming back are extremely positive, and we're very, very thankful to all the faculty, staff, and students who were here and available to have those conversations with prospective parents. Thank you. The Mid-Pacific message, especially where social media is concerned, is something that we also discussed. We learned that social media is no longer the icing on the cake. It's the cake. We learned that when it comes to all the voices on social media out in the public, we want our school to occupy a larger share of that voice. Last year, for example, 7% of all the voices in social media about schools was about Mid-Pacific. Just 1 year later, we're at 27%. A huge amount of thanks goes to Julie Yuen in the communications office and everybody else on campus for all the work that they're putting into sharing our message, getting the voice out there, and including as many people off campus as possible in the discussions about the amazing things that happen here every single day. But it isn't just the percentage of people talking about Mid-Pacific that counts. It's the positive sentiment. The positive sentiment means that people are engaged with us, they're curious about us, and they want to share our story. And the sharing of our story is what leads to potentially new families and obviously a better admissions season for the coming year. And by the way, the positive sentiment last year was right here. So you can see we're making great progress in the world of social media. Thank you to everybody. We also get out on the road. It's not just about social media. It's about personal interactions. Last week in New York, very successful alumni events occurred thanks to Heidi Bao and Gary Cordova. This week we'll be in Las Vegas for a multi-year alumni reunion, bringing many, many individuals together to talk about the school and to talk about how we can all come together and support our students of today and a great view for tomorrow. Silicon Valley, talking about tomorrow, is another place that is full of potential partners for Mid-Pacific. Our CIO, Brian Dote, was there just last week after being invited to attend a conference and came back after having very productive conversations with a number of high-profile tech firms. And who knows, some of those conversations could lead to support for Mid-Pacific, and more importantly, could put Mid-Pacific in a place where we are part of a very interesting and new conversation regarding virtual reality, education, and storytelling. Schools of the Future has been a component of the Hawaii landscape for the last 6 years or 7 years. Our faculty continue this year to be a large percentage of the representatives offering seminars and sessions at Schools of the Future, and I hope you're able to take some time this month to go and see your peers. Kupoho Academy, an equally large component of the educational programming in this particular community, was able to expand this year. Over the last 6 years, the traditional offerings that we had were for middle and high school, and this year we were able to expand down into the elementary as well. So we have a full component of offerings with inquiry and project-based learning, and the highest number of teachers to date attended Kupoho just this past summer. This year is all about finding ways of deepening that expansion, and I want to thank everybody involved with Kupoho for the great work that they've done. And finally, we're also on the road internationally. We have multiple international students here. Mid-Pacific is known for having the highest number of international students of any independent school in the state. And when it comes to reaching out on the educational programming side, we're no different. Scott Siegfried is in China right now, both on an admissions tour to recruit new families and to elevate our name in various regions in China. But he's also there to speak at a particular conference on the importance of arts in education at Mid-Pacific. Edna Hussey has been invited to attend a conference and speak in the next couple of weeks, and she'll be there because of the great work that our early childhood learning and elementary folks did at our elementary campus to help a new school in China develop its programming and open its doors based on a lot of what we do right here at home. And in the next 2 weeks, I'll also be visiting China. I was invited to speak at a conference hosted by Alibaba, and they're looking at different ways of bringing innovation, technology, arts education all together and finding new avenues of programming for the future. So you can see that Mid-Pacific is increasing its share of social media voice, but most importantly, we're talking about individuals speaking to small groups and large groups at home, on the national stage, and on the international stage. All of that in one quarter. When we talk about progress, we also talk about taking some time and looking at ourselves. When we look at the way in which we work together, we look at our traditions, our rituals, the embodiment of a culture of caring. One thing that we don't really have right now is a specific group who can represent multiple aspects of campus life. And you see this list of individuals in front of you and the areas of the campus that they represent. The idea of the Traditions Working Group came from my wife, Leslie Turnbull. when we were talking at the beginning of the school year about culture and community and bringing everybody together, she suggested bringing together a group like this that would represent multiple conversations and doing it in such a way that over a long period of time, over this entire school year, looking in an investigative way, using our inquiry process at what we do well, things that perhaps we have done and discontinued and should consider bringing back, and things that don't exist yet, but perhaps they could exist if we gave them a little time and some resources. So this group, the Traditions Working Group, chaired by Edna Hussey, is going to meet 6 times over the course of the school year, speak to a number of individuals, and bring together a broad spectrum of ideas that could represent ways in which we can tighten the fabric of Mid-Pacific and do it in a way that represents that balance of a caring culture and a culture that embraces fun and excitement all at the same time. Thank you to Edna and to the entire Traditions Working Group for the work that they're going to do talking about our culture. And interestingly, whenever we talk about culture, and in this particular case, we have a principal search for the high school principal, it's about articulating what we do well and the things that are our strengths and the things that we perceive to be our challenges. The Traditions Working Group is a deeper group, but the search committee involved with finding the next high school principal is an on-the-ground, highly interactive group that is specifically looking at all the nuances of the high school campus and finding the best person to lead us into the future. This group is a fantastic culmination of the constituencies on our campus, and I know that because of their hard work and their time and their effort moving all the way through January, we will end up with a fantastic successor to an already amazing individual in Tom McManus. If you haven't already had the chance to take a look at the survey and participate, I encourage you to do so. More emails will be forthcoming, and your voice is important in this. The more individuals who talk about our strengths and our challenges and what you're hoping for in the new person just allows us a better picture and better data on which to make decisions. So please take some time. And finally, messaging, as we talked about, is important. Being part of our community is important, but being the tape can make a difference for us right now. We heard about all the great things that happen on campus, but we also know that Julie Yuen and Scott Allen and Scott Siegfried are only 3 people versus over 1,500 students and 155 faculty. If you are out there and you have something you're excited about, please post it online, #MidPacific. If you want to share that story and you think it's something that we could really elevate and make part of our website or part of our magazine, please send it to Julie at #BeTheTape. Understanding that our voices all together are stronger. We are simply stronger than the sum of our parts. This is an amazing school. This is an amazing place because we have a culture of caring, like I've said many times already, because we put kids first, and because we embrace fun. We have a lot of fun here, and having fun is something that not every place can do well. So I hope with all this information that I've given you that you can see that we're both making progress on very organizational things, but we're also balancing that progress by developing ways in which we can look at our culture and we can define what that culture might look like as we move forward. We're in a really good place. It's the beginning of the second quarter. Our faculty and our students are working hard in the classrooms, and I am so appreciative of everything they do. And our staff, our support staff, and our facilities maintenance individuals all the way around campus, every single day are here to make sure that our student experiences are the best ever. I couldn't be happier to be here. I'm so grateful for everything that you do, and I wish you the best week ahead. Aloha.